You are listening to the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast. And today I welcome back my very good buddy, all the way originally from Griffith. We were just talking about the crime up in Griffith, and there's been so much crime up there that someone's actually written a book about it. Welcome back, Ameena Basile, my fellow dental practice coach and consultant.
Hey, Julie, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the warm welcome and talking me up about my background in Griffith. I really appreciate it.
It doesn't surprise me at all that it's seedy.
No, I love my Griffith upbringing very, very much. It's a beautiful place.
And I'm intrigued as to how many of our students, and we'll tell everybody what I mean by students, how many of our students are actually from Griffith. So there's quite a breeding ground for dental up there as criminals.
So, yeah, we do have students from Griffith, and we also worked with somebody, a dentist, for quite some time, and then later learnt that he was in Griffith for a period of time. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It's quite interesting. I didn't realise it was such a
I
hub.
just attract these people everywhere I go. They follow me.
That's right. So, everyone, just to pop you all in the picture of how Ameena and I are connected, our current project is what we're here to talk about today, and we'll lead up to tell you a little bit about that. But first of all, Ameena, tell us a little bit about how you got into the dental practice industry and then became a consultant. Just a very short little summary.
So I was living in Griffith, and my dad was a GP there who expected me to finish school and go to university and all those sorts of things. And I was not interested in what he had in store for me and decided to leave school, and the only job going in the whole town was a dental nursing traineeship, which I was not interested in. However, I needed to prove my father wrong. So I ended up in this DA position. I really hated it, to be honest with you, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the nicest boss in the world. He also is from Griffith, and perhaps he's listening.
That can have a big impact on whether we enjoy it or not.
Yes. I later moved on to another practice in the ACT where I had some better professional experiences, became better at what I did, then moved into reception and practice management. Sometime during that journey, my father, who had been practicing in private practice as a doctor for 35 years thereabouts, passed away. He was a very good doctor, loved and breathed his work. However, he was a very, very bad businessman. And having died with young children and not much to show for his efforts financially, I became very passionate about these science brains needing to understand business in order to financially be rewarded for their learnings, basically. So I then went and studied accounting, practice management, and went from practice to practice, building it up, implementing hygiene departments. And once I felt like I had conquered that practice, I'd move on to the next one. And then I thought, you know what? I don't need to do this for one practice. I can actually go out and do this for several practices and be by myself and not have to put up with a dentist all day, every day. No, not really. So here we are.
Here we are, indeed. So how long have you been doing consulting for?
I've been working in dentistry for, I think it's coming up to 28 years. Consulting, what are we, nearly 7 years? Where
Fantastic.
on earth has that time gone? So
I know, it flies by. Because you reached out to me how many years ago? 5 years ago?
no, it
6
must
years
be
ago.
6 because Zalia was a baby.
Nice. And said, let's catch up for a coffee or a lunch or what have you. And then with the thought of just kind of picking each other's brains and helping each other in the space. And we've got along so famously well and share the same journey in certain respects, but also share a very strong love of a good sense of humour and a good glass of wine.
I was very, very...
So we got along famously well.
I was very scared to call you, Julie. I looked at your website for a couple of years and thought, I might give this lady a call and see if she wants to connect. And I thought, no, maybe she's a snob and she won't want to talk. But look, here we are.
I had no friends. I had no choices. I had to...
Yeah, or desperate times. Desperate measures.
Thank God. No, I'm thrilled that we have connected, and it's really when you connected with me, I'd finally got into the groove of working by myself, as a lot of people who work in dental surgeries will understand, that you get very used to that collaborative nature of working with a team and bouncing ideas off each other and having those regular mini breaks through your working day. And when I started working from home as a consultant, I really did find myself, I think it took a good 2 years to get in a really good, productive, efficient rhythm working from home and just relying on myself to have those conversations with and having my own thoughts around things. And so when you did reach out, I was really comfortable working on my own, but it's really helped me tap back into that joy of collaboration and that joy of sharing different ideas and watching something grow, that you both have something to contribute towards. And that's what we've done with our latest project. So we started Dental Business Mastery together. We've both got our own separate companies. Yours is dentalmanagementexpertise.com.au if people would like to go and have a look. Mine, of course, is Julie Parker Practice Success. And then together, a few years ago, we formed Dental Business Mastery. And the whole purpose around that was to conduct live events for dental team members and dental practice owners and improve their level of training and learning and the kind of strategies that they're implementing within their practices so they could actually achieve not just greater levels of success for the practice, but for their own self as well. They're progressing in their career as an individual. And that was a lot of fun. We still remember our 3-day conference, which, was our biggest event that we had done together, and it was such a great success. And we often reflect back on that, saying, can't wait for COVID to be over so we can start down that path again. And hopefully that's going to be happening soon. At our recent live session for our students, we had Sue Rosalind, the hygienist queen, and Lynn Carmen of Link Consulting. And the four of us are thinking about collaborating together and doing some sort of big project together, which would be a lot of fun as well. Let's hope that goes through.
That would be absolutely amazing. There is still, I'm loving what we're doing online, but the space of being with people is something really, really special, even more so now, I think.
Yeah, you just can't replace it. You can't replace it.
No, you can't.
So this is what we're talking about, our big project that we've been rolling out since December last year. We're slowly coming up to a year for our Dental Business Mastery Dental Practice Management Program. And this is a 1-year online course it's really aimed towards dental practice managers and practice owners. But as so many of our students say, gosh, anybody in the team who want to have some kind of positive impact on the practice they're working for or introduce things for greater productivity, efficiency, etc., everyone would benefit from this course. This course has been a lot of fun, hasn't it, Meenie?
It's been a lot of fun. And I think even the other front office staff, there's so much content within the program that's so good for them and would be highly valuable for their day-to-day operations and gaining confidence and actually understanding the big whys behind everything they do and what the practices are trying to achieve. I think that lack of understanding is something that holds people back quite a bit throughout their journey.
Oh, for sure. For sure, because quite often these roles are filled with people who haven't gone through a university degree or some sort of formal external education, and then they go and seek out that role of practice manager. Quite often it is either the spouse of the dentist, the dental practice owner who's the practice manager, or it's a DA that then's progressed to a receptionist then has progressed to patient coordinator, then has progressed to practice manager. And it's all an in-house promotion system. And so they often get into that role and they do it to their best ability. But when they start to see all of the resources out there and ways of fulfilling that role, fulfilling the responsibilities of that role, their eyes just widen, and all of a sudden they're feeling like they're having a really true positive impact, not just on the practice, but on themselves and their team members as well.
Yeah, and I think, let's face it, it's not a position in a dental practice for the front office team where they're simply answering the phone and taking money. It's not that simple. It's a complicated business. I've worked in hospitality with my husband. He's now a tradesman, and medical practice with my father. When I look at all these businesses, they're so simple. There's a lot more complexity within dentistry, I feel, and business management. So.
Well, that's interesting because I haven't done anything other than dental. And so that's an interesting insight that I've never heard you speak of before, that others are much more straightforward. And certainly, you know, when you start to break down not just the way you're doing things currently in a dental surgery, but looking at a very, very successful dental surgery, and you break down all of their different kind of departments and systems and processes, that's when you really start to think, goodness me, it is complex. And goodness me, there are so many areas that we need to really focus on, develop skills in, because none of this stuff comes naturally. A lot of this stuff, such as rapport building, communication, but also bringing in effective systems for production and efficiency, and helping patients down through that journey of, you know, coming into a space where they're naturally anxious, and we are trying to create a positive experience for them, educate them, assist them in making decisions around things that they don't naturally understand themselves. But we're doing all of that while we are also trying to make a business profitable and healthy, and team members satisfied, and a space for them to hopefully learn and grow as well.
Yeah, and I think we often hear frustrations from practice owners about their front office staff, or any staff, to be honest. However, you know, the question always is there as to whether they've actually received the appropriate training, you know, in order to be able to communicate with the patients, to make the practice successful, to manage the cancellations, to manage the recalls, to get the people coming back, all these sorts of things. It's very different to medicine, for example, where Medicare's funding a fair bit of the cost of the patient going to see the doctor.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different ballgame, and it takes an enormous amount of skill to do these things well, I think, more so than in a medical practice, I believe.
Yeah. And yes, because the receptionist, for a start, just that one role, has a far greater influence and impression on the patients than in a medical clinic. I mean, I remember, I haven't been to the doctors for like a ridiculously long time.
Not even a psychiatrist.
But I remember walking in, and they ignore you for the first couple of minutes. You're not quite sure whether to sit down or stand up. So you sit down and you see all the 1 of 10 signs, report to the reception before you sit down. You're like, whoops, I've got to get back up again. And they're really, I think dentistry has always been ahead of the game when you compare them to medical in terms of customer service and the kind of relationships that we build with our clients. And so we are quite different from all of that. And just going back to what you were saying before of complaints about team members, one of the common things you and I both get is, can you come on board and just make my team better? Just make them better. And it's a 50-50 deal. I've always said that there is a 50% responsibility for sure with the team member, that they are learning, growing, they are putting themselves out there outside their comfort zone possibly to make sure that they are performing well and that they're always maintaining a minimum standard of performance. However, for employers out there, never forget you've got the other 50% responsibility, that you are creating an environment where that person can be successful, where they can learn new skills if they need to, where they'll be supported in the skills development and they're learning and growing so they can actually deliver stronger performances than what they have. So it's so much a 50-50 deal. And with what we talk about in our program, and we're going to detail this for all of the listeners, so much of what we do is about making sure that we are creating the right environment for team members, that we are doing the learning and growing ourselves, but also that we're looking after mindset as well. Because after all, we are human beings moving through our workspaces, and things can get very stressful in a dental surgery. And certainly of late, there's a lot of job sharing in essence, because so many people are off sick with COVID and this and that. And then there's such a small pool of people to be able to recruit it from, that we are having a lot of staffing issues. And so there seems to be a bit of a layer upon layer upon layer of things that can potentially make a team quite stressed and dysfunctional. And so that's also another element, that like the human element. How do we improve that?
Yeah, and I think, in terms of leadership, there's always room for improvement, and it's always reflected in how your staff perform and behave. So I think you're right there. It's a 50-50 deal, and there may be staffing things to look at, but there's often leadership things that need to be worked on at the same time when it comes to that. And in the program, we do a lot of work around HR, leadership, and much of the program content is for the front office administration, operations, patient management, all that sort of thing as well. So very, very thorough overall program, and helpful for, most of the management team in the practice anyway.
For sure. So why did we start this program at the very start, back in December? You and I had often spoken about, gosh, did you see there was another Facebook thread of practice managers out there asking for information about what courses people had done. Many people had mentioned one particular course, I think it was the UAE course, that they loved, and it's no longer available, which was disappointing. Then the other courses that are out there were really lacking in terms of the follow-up and support that instructors were delivering to the students themselves. And so they were going beyond dental practice management courses and looking elsewhere. But of course, it's not dental specific. And as we've just discussed, quite wildly different managing any other health practice to a dental practice. And so we thought, well, we've got all the information. We can put all this together, your beauty. And luckily, everyone was very comfortable by then with online learning and online attendance to things. And so to develop this online course seemed like a really good idea. It excited both of us, and we built it as we were going. So, week one lesson was built the previous week, and we continued that process, which is how we got the whole year's curriculum finally all tied up together, which was a very exciting point for us to get to. But it also helped us to really understand, because we were moving with our students through their journey, it really helped us to understand the kind of information they needed and were wanting to learn, and how they were learning it, the kind of assignments that we designed for them, what kind of level of participation they were able to give, given that a lot of them were working full-time or part-time, families at home. Some of them could attend live while at the practice, others there's no way, so they had to attend other times outside of practice hours. And so all of that, it's like it was a constant loop of feedback that we were then able to respond to. So what we ended up with, what we've got right now, is a online course where the content and the student experience and the level of support that we offer has our students absolutely thrilled with the process. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And having completed the diploma in practice management myself, what I found was that I had already been working in practice management for some time. So I felt like I was only putting everything I had already learnt on some paper to get the certificate, in all honesty.
Yeah.
However, and it's very broad and not anything like what we offer, in my opinion. So, for example, the daily things that we deal with, such as managing cancellations, broken appointments, how to manage the appointment book, all these sorts of things that we get into intricate detail that is relevant only to the dental practice in this space, how you would manage it, treatment planning, all those sorts of things. they don't go through that. And this particular program that we have developed, I feel that even if you've been working in dentistry for years, going through this content annually is highly important because we need to revisit these things all the time. I'm still learning about all those things all the time because there's new ideas. Somebody offers a new way of doing things. The economy changes. COVID changed things. We manage things differently, all that sort of thing. So I don't think it's something you do once and you can wipe your hands clean. There's always stuff to learn on these topics.
Yeah, and what I've thought about while you're explaining that is take your favourite self-development book. I mean, for me, it would be something from Tony Robbins. And I read Tony Robbins for the first time, I think, when I was 19 or 20 years old. I then read it again a couple of years later, came out on audiobook, listened to it. I could read it again right now, that same title that I read back then, and get something different from it. Because we can't learn all the things at once. And we put our hook into the things that are highly relevant to us right now. And usually that is only 1, 2 or 3 things. It's not 17, 18, 19 different concepts. And so I agree with you. And the ability to be able to revisit this kind of learning content, even if you feel like you've already learned it all before, you are going to gain value from it because different things will be relevant to you right now.
Yeah, it's fresh in my mind, actually, because Monday when we had Sue Bruce-Sullen on as a special guest, we're talking hygiene. I mean, I love hygiene. I'm passionate about it. I've been developing hygiene departments for 20-odd years. And I think I haven't done too bad a job either, just quietly.
Yeah, it sounds like you've done a magnificent job. That's right.
However, she is a wealth of knowledge and she is a hygienist herself. So I still found, things I could learn from her and also just refocus me to think, I need to get back on these things again with some of my clients or revisit them again. It shifts your focus, reminds you about that thing, sparks new ideas, lots of things. So, yeah it's really important to keep exposing yourself, re-exposing to the same stuff.
Yeah, in an appropriate way.
Yeah, not how Julie does it.
So we've come to, it's nearly a year in, we're nearly at the December again. We have tweaked and changed and modified the course to reflect what the students benefit from and what they've requested as well. And we have now, and I've just looked into it while we were chatting, I was looking into it to see what our current figure of the number of enrolled students is in our dental practice management program is, and it's exactly 100. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Indeed. Exactly. What a nice round figure, 100.
It is awesome.
It is awesome. So we have been rolling out the program as a pilot program for the past year because we started in the December and because we started off having it as a 9-month program, but now it's in essence a 12-month program. We really want to function it moving forward as a normal student year, a normal university year, if you like. And so all of our learnings start in the February and run all the courses, the lessons run all the way through to the November, and we're going to be having December and January off. However, when students enroll in the course, they've got access to all of the content straight away. And along with the content are recordings of you and I delivering those lessons. So you can participate and join in this program anytime and start moving through. And we're going to start talking about the different levels of enrollment that you can have, because up until this point in time, there's been just the one level of enrollment, student enrollment. And with that, you got access to all the course content. You got weekly live sessions with you and I and all of the other students that had enrolled who wanted to turn up to live sessions, where you and I, for the first hour of the 2-hour live session, would deliver the lesson itself. And the second hour was a combination, depending on what was needed at the time by our students. It was a combination of answering further questions around the lesson. It could have been a mastermind over particular challenges some dental practice managers and owners were having at the time, where we could mastermind, share resources, ideas, insights with everybody to get to fantastic solutions. And it's what we call sprints. And sprints are one way that you can nut through those assignments or your to-do list, a few items off your to-do list in a short, concise period of time where you are completely undistracted by telephones, toilets, coffee breaks, and we just get a whole bunch of stuff done. And those sprints, you and I already knew how powerful they were in terms for our own productivity and efficiency, but our students really enjoyed them, yeah?
They absolutely did. And it also meant that they would put those who wanted, like Julie said, you can move through the program on your own if you wanted to, go into the tier 1. However, if you were interested in attending the live sessions, it meant that they would get their assignments and things done within that 2-hour time frame. So it was just 2 hours a week that they were involved in the live sessions and getting the little assignments done. They're not anything that demand a lot of time or work. So don't be put off by that. And also they would do it during that time, at our sprint times, and we the discussions we had during those times, the masterminds, people would come, we would ask everybody, is there a topic, something going on in your practice that you'd like to discuss this week? And together we would discuss it. And the learning for all of us was awesome, wasn't it? And the interactions we had.
It was fantastic. And really, we did find when we were trying to figure out how we should split up the enrolment to different tiers, because we wanted to make it super affordable, because there are a lot of students that never attended any live sessions but still submitted assignments and also still participated and progressed through the content without doing any assignments or any live sessions. We really wanted to make sure we fit the need. And the people that were experiencing those masterminds within the live sessions, that was one of the best parts of the whole program.
It was.
On top of the learning. So
yeah, I highly recommend the tier 2, where you get involved in live sessions if you've got the time to be able to do it, because the value is enormous.
It is enormous. So let's go through, first of all, what people are going to learn during their 1 year, and hopefully we're not going to make it too long and laborious. We'll go swiftly through these areas because there is a lot of areas that people learn about within the program. Then we'll talk about kind of how it's done, and then we'll talk about how you experience and how the price changes from tier 1, 2 and tier 3. We might throw in a few testimonials that happy students have delivered to us to break up the monotony of hearing about all the lessons. That might be a good way to go, Ameena. So first of all, we have got a schedule wheel that we are going to be running to. So every February, because we're planning on because it has been quite a successful program and we're getting great feedback from it, we're assuming it's going to be going on for a number of years. So every February, we will be moving, first of all, into foundational concepts. And foundational concepts are all purpose, vision, values, culture, all these philosophies, these statements that are designed to be identified to help drive the success of your business, no matter what that business is. We tell you what they are all about, how they are different from one another, and how to identify what yours are and how to make them live, living philosophies within your practice.
We're also learning or teaching in the program achieving dental practice goals, why goal setting is important, the types of dental practice goals, identifying strategies and tasks to achieve practice goals, delegation of tasks and deadlines, key performance indicators, monitoring KPIs, tools for tracking goals achievement progress, getting your team on board with goals achievement, keeping your team inspired. These are all things that are often spoken about but not often really taught.
Oh, that's for sure. And you need to know how to get these sort of things done. Like, how do I effectively delegate? How do I maintain the performance or the motivation of team members when we're trying to get them to do things that might be outside their comfort zone, or new systems that they've now got to incorporate within their daily operation? And sometimes can be quite a challenge to get that done. But when you're given the skills, the tasks, the tools, all of a sudden you can see how that can roll out very effectively and how you can be the one rolling that out.
Absolutely. And I think as a practice manager, particularly, learning this stuff just engages you in your role, and the desire to want to succeed and use these tracking systems and ideas really gives you some direction, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Because it makes you feel like I can do this. I can see myself doing it because I've nutted it down to the nuts and bolts, and I can actually create a plan for myself to get this done. Whereas before, you'd be like, I wish I could do that. I wouldn't know how, though. Who would know how? After we move through that module of goals achievement, we then move into the module of systems. So what are systems? Developing your own dental practice systems, how to do that, the different types of dental practice systems that you really should have in every dental practice, the ones that are quite common to all of them. Standard operating procedures, what they are, how do we construct them, where do we house them, how do we make sure they're always monitored, and your own dental practice manual. And we are a big fan nowadays of a digital practice manual over a physical one. There's a lot of benefits, and so we step you through the process on how to do that as well.
Reception operations is the next topic, and we all have lots and lots of things in the practice that we need to manage at the front desk, don't we? So understanding the role of the receptionist, understanding how patients think, rapport building, communications in person and over the telephone, listening skills, task prioritization, time management at reception, becoming an effective multitasker, organizational skills development, email management, broken appointments, converting new callers into actual appointments, patient handover to reception, managing patients with incomplete treatment, scheduling for efficiency, productivity, and low stress, filling the gaps in the appointment schedule.
It's an indicator of how many things the receptionist is managing every day, doesn't it?
There is lots. They're very skilled people, and this is why they really need the appropriate training to do the job well.
The next module after that is patient management. And again, this is what we're all here for as a dental practice. We are here to manage patients. And so again, there's a lot of lessons involved in this particular module. Patient engagement in their treatment, categorizing patients for improved engagement, the lifetime value of patients, dental patient avatars, attracting great patients, keeping great patients, patient expectations, understanding why patients leave, great customer service and what that looks like and how to roll that out, getting patient feedback, managing difficult and complaining patients, managing aggressive patients, how to reactivate inactive patients, and preventing your inactive patient list from growing. Now, the first thing that popped into my head when I was reading through that list, Manny, was one of our students just this past week or so had mentioned to us that her boss said, show me some value you're getting from being part of this course. And she said, well, we've just done an assignment. Can I do the assignment on this practice? It's about reactivating inactive patients. They said, absolutely. And they offer Invisalign at this particular practice. And so she rolled out this assignment with their inactive patient base that were interested in Invisalign. She rolled out the strategy, or she identified the strategy, rolled out all the tasks that she'd identified that would meet that strategy and action that strategy. And how much money did she end up booking in for that practice?
I think it was like $70,000 worth of treatment.
It was $75,000. So that was worth it. That boss was quite happy. And we have had some students say, my boss can see the difference in my performance. How satisfying is that when you're going through the hard work of doing a course and actually seeing some benefit from that side from the people that you're doing all this hard work for?
Yeah, so if you're a practice owner, there you go, hand in the pocket. So financial reporting, areas of financial reporting to monitor in a dental practice, balance sheets, profit and loss statements, cash flow statements, cash flow forecasting, managing a cash flow crisis. I think all business owners have those from time to time, particularly in the early days. Reconciliations and petty cash management. These are all pieces of paper and reports that often you've heard of but don't really understand. So That's an excellent module, isn't it?
It is an excellent module, and it had more interest in it than what we had first presumed. I mean, I find the whole financial reporting side of things pretty boring.
Well, I actually love it.
But others are finding it pretty exciting.
I love it.
Yeah, you love it as well. That's right. See, we're all, as Charles says, we're all weirdos.
Oh, well, only you, Julie.
Especially you. After that, we move into compliance. And so the areas of compliance for dental practice, we help you identify all of those for the students and identification of the resources to ensure that you are compliant. So where do you find the websites, the guidelines, the this, the that, to always make sure that you are compliant and up to date on your information.
So the next module is teams, building a successful team, developing a strong team culture, team conflict, managing bad employee behaviour. If you've employed Julie before, you would probably have experienced this. Passive aggression in teams, improving the performance of a team member, and performance reviews.
And again, another really crucial element to learn. Depending on the dental practice that you're working in, you may be a receptionist that's participating in some of these items. And you may be a practice manager that's doing a bunch of these items. And the more information you've got to support yourself moving through these key areas, the better you're going to be in those roles and in those capacities. Because when we come to teams, we can either be inspiring, or I should say motivating, or demotivating. We could be building relationships that are strong, or we could be contributing to the breakdown of relationships. And so a real awareness, a strong positive mindfulness around team management is important. The next module after that is human resources. So this takes us from everything from finding the right people through our advertising and hiring process to hopefully not as a common thing, but firing them and performance improvement as well. So what are human resources? The hiring process, designing an effective job advert, telephone interviews, what to do, in-person interviews, what to do, onboarding new employees successfully, keeping great employees, managing an underperforming employee, and terminating staff. So that whole lifespan of team members is what's covered in human resources.
Yes, and with leadership versus management, types of leadership, developing leadership values, leadership communication, what drives team behaviour, psychologically safe working environments, systems to support leadership success, leadership resilience, cultivating relationships as a leader, thinking like a business owner.
Yeah, leadership is another one of those areas that there's so much information out there, but we don't normally go out there and seek it. We kind of just learn on the job as we go, but that can be a pretty painful process. I think it's going to be a painful process anyway, because we have to do a lot of self-awareness through becoming a great leader, but we provide a bunch of really useful information that helps you feel like you've got a greater command over your leadership capabilities.
Absolutely.
And the final module is achieving success as a practice manager. This is where you and I share a lot of additional thoughts and insights on how to become successful in that space. Mindset and belief management, growth, key areas of that role to master, self-awareness, practice planning and implementation, and responsibility. So how you take a really responsible stance as yourself as a practice manager or practice owner in your organisation, and how that has a very strong impact on your subsequent performance. So it is a long list of stuff that we move through, but it's all highly relevant. Every single step as we're reading through that, I'm like, yep, still relevant, still relevant, still relevant all the way through.
That is for sure.
So let's have a look at what some of the students have said about the program so far. So first of all, we've got Dr. Trevor Barrett. This program has been excellent and inspiring. The presenters are knowledgeable and friendly, giving lots of tips in addition to the course information. The members' website is easy to use and full of extra information. It allows you to review the live sessions and access all assignments and course information. I highly recommend this course to practice managers, practice owners, and those who aspire to be practice managers or owners. That's fantastic from Trevor. Thank you. I agree. I think he knows that we know our stuff. That's nice.
It's helpful. Okay, Kyla, who's a practice manager, she said she's thoroughly enjoying the course. Very flexible, offers various live sessions or pre-recordings of lessons to catch up in my own time. The course incorporates sprints into the live sessions. These are short blocks of time periods where you work individually and focus on a task to complete, whether that be coursework or a personal task. Fabulous idea. I find it easier to focus, feel more productive, and once again, flexible options. Modules within the course are informative, relatable, and easy to learn. The presenters, Julie and Ameena, are friendly and are always there for additional support. Having other students involved within the live sessions also enables me to gain further insight into how other practices are run, or more importantly, additional, helpful, handy tips.
That's just such an example, beautiful example of what we were talking about with the value of those live sessions, with the masterminds and the sprints. I mean, I agree with Kyla. So many people just got so much stuff done during those live sessions. We're already all focused in on doing the thing. And so you're usually, if it is an assignment you're doing, you're usually getting through it far quicker because your whole mind space is in that moment. So I think those 2 hours feels like a lot when you hear about being online for 2 hours, but those 2 hours are filled with learning course content, but also doing stuff. So you're not just blindly looking at the screen for 2 hours. It's quite interactive as well when you talk about the discussions that we all have as a group.
Yeah, exactly.
And our lovely Tony, the practice manager of this particular practice, really enjoyed the program so far. The content is very informative. Julie and Ameena are down to earth and really know their stuff. There are also so many great suggestions and tips that are very helpful. This course will hopefully set me up with all the knowledge I need to be a great practice manager. I have thoroughly enjoyed the course and learnt so much. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. That's a beautiful testimonial. So we've got on our website, we've got a bunch of live testimonials where people can actually see our students speaking via video about what their experience has been during the program as well. So we encourage anybody who's interested, jump onto our website. The link will be in the show notes. It is dentalbusinessmastery.com.au and have a look for yourself to see if the testimonials and the way we have structured this course is something that you feel you'll benefit from. We have great confidence that you will benefit from it. So for the past year, meaning we have been taking our students through this experience where they were paying, I think it was around $2,000 for the whole year. And for that, they got access to all the course content and they were coming to our weekly live sessions and they were able to submit assignments that were then assessed. And then a lot of our students have already completed all of their assignments in the whole course. And so they've been getting their certificates of successful completion mailed out to them. So that's been a really exciting step for everybody. But moving forward, and we're taking enrollments now, you can access the course information regardless of what tier you are enrolling in straight away. And then from February on, that's where the live sessions start to be rolled out. So tier 1, we have designed that for the students who don't have time, don't have the inclination to jump online with us live. They are quite confident that they'll be able to move through the learning content. And the learning content, it's a mixture of text and downloads and videos. Every one of the lessons have a video explaining that whole lesson as well. And they're quite confident that they're going to be able to move through that information without any additional support from us. They don't need to do any assignments. That's not part of tier 1. Tier 1 is just getting that information. You don't have any access to the live sessions either, but you do have access to our resources page. So there's a whole bunch of resources that you and I share constantly throughout the program, and they have access to all of that as well. It's very much self-paced. You can jump in there and get through all the information as quickly as you possibly can, or you can really stage it out. You've got access to the information for 2 years from when you were enrolled, and so that's plenty of time to move through all the information. But you can really cherry pick what's relevant to you right now. So that's tier 1. Tier 1 is $1,997 for an enrollment. You can have additional team members enroll under the same tier for $798, and all of these enrollments can be paid off every month over the 12-month period. Then we've got Tier 2. Now, Tier 2 is really what all of our existing students have been enjoying to date. So they've got access to all the course content. They also do assignments. If they choose to do assignments, they've got all the assignments there as well. And they get to jump on any and all live sessions that they like, where they can see us present the lesson live, and then we can participate in masterminds and sprints at the same time. You have access to Ameena and myself, obviously, for any support through getting all of the work done as well. And you've also got access to the recordings page. Now, the recordings page has every single live session that we've ever recorded loaded up there, and that's what we continue to do as well. And so even if you miss a live session, you can jump into the recordings page and listen to it again. Tier 2 enrollment fee is $3,997. For additional team members enrolling in the same level is $1,279 extra, and again, can all be paid off over a 12-month period in instalments as well. And then Tier 3 was something that we added on. It's quite different to what our existing students were experiencing, but this is where it was in response to a few of our students who were dental practice owners that really wanted assistance in activating big change and shift within their dental practice. They're learning how to do it, but can we get some great assistance on doing it for us? And so you and I, it's just like a Tier 2 experience, but on top of that, there are weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever the schedule permits, where Ameena and myself jump online with your practice, with your team, and we start identifying the goals that you would like to achieve as a practice. It's like a consulting program. We tell everybody exactly what needs to be done in order to achieve these goals that you've identified for the practice, and we help everyone's learning and development along the way. So it's a highly customized one-on-one program. So that one is for Tier 3, $17,997, and all the team members can join in for no additional charge on that one. Again, you can pay that off over 12 instalments over a year as well. The course content availability I didn't mention in Tier 2 is 4 years. You've got a whole 4 years to hang on to that course content and continue to attend live sessions, all the rest of it. And with Tier 3, you've got the content available to you forever. And when I say forever, it's for however long Ameena and I do it, which is hopefully going to be a long time, Edie.
I think it's also important to note that don't see it as paying for a 12-month course. I think you'll be revisiting that content quite a lot.
Yeah, and if you are actually implementing some of the things that we talk about, just like that student we were mentioning before, that just after rolling out one assignment within the practice that she's working at, she's brought in tens of thousands of dollars. Now, not every assignment's got that power, but maybe, when you do all the assignments, it's got the potential to have that kind of impact. So it really is a wonderful investment that you can make in your team members, but also in your practice as well, because it's within your practice that they're going to be delivering that stronger performance, that performance that has far more resources, knowledge, and skills backing it. So what they're doing, the impact they're having on their own space that they hold within the practice, that of the team members around them, and the experience they're delivering to patients. The payoff is enormous, absolutely enormous.
Yeah, and I think what's really lacking in dental practices is the availability to be able to provide this type of learning, to take a day off and take everyone to a conference and seminar, particularly at times like this when we've been closed for some periods, or then we're short-staffed. So it's online. One of our live sessions is a Monday morning from 9 to 11. Another
Melbourne time,
yes. That same session for the week is rolled out again on the Thursday evening from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. So depending on the schedule of those involved, it doesn't need to impact your work time. So very, very flexible in terms of disruption, and lots of value to gain from it.
Yeah, and depending on the time zone that you're in, we've got a couple of American practices that just happen to be sitting in a nice comfy time zone where the timing actually live session timings work out for them beautifully. We've also got New Zealand practices on board too. So even though you and I are Australian and the majority of our students are Australian, what we cover, and you would imagine through the list of lessons that we described before, this is relevant to any dental practice.
Yes. And if you're really needing to set some time, one of your goals for the year is to set some time aside to work on your business, you could just cross out, make it part of your schedule. That's the time you work on your business, and you'll be doing it all at the same time. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember Erin, one of our other students, one of her major concerns before enrolling was, how am I going to get the time to do it? I've got kids. I've got a busy full-time job working in the practice. I won't be able to get the time. And she was thrilled with the way that it was structured because she did absolutely find the time and she found it very enjoyable and motivating to turn up as well. So if we have intrigued people into the dental practice management program and they would like to find out a little bit more about it or indeed enroll, what's their best next step, Meenie?
Reach out to either Julie or myself if you wanted to ask any further questions. Otherwise, you can go to dentalbusinessmastery.com.au, have a look there, and you will also be able to enroll.
Beautiful. And if you've got any additional questions, do feel free to reach out to us personally. Within the show notes, there's our contact details in there. But hopefully we've done a lot to explain the changes that are happening within the program, let you know the level of satisfaction that our students have been experiencing, and given you a great insight into the course content and what yourself or your team member will be learning over the coming year. If you'd like to join anytime, access the information immediately. And then for Tier 2 and Tier 3 students, we start rolling out our live sessions in February. If you'd like a little sneak peek into those live sessions, you may have been seeing some promotional information that Ameena and I have been sharing. We've had some special guests such as Sue Rosalind and others rolling out during our live sessions to give the public a chance to participate in our live sessions to see what they're about. So watch out for those promotions coming up for the rest of November, and please do join us. We'd love to see you there. But otherwise, thanks, Meenie. I'm having a marvellous time rolling this program out with you. I've got to say, it's wonderful that it's been a success because I enjoy it immensely.
It is very, very enjoyable, and I've really, really enjoyed working with you, Julie, on this project. Once again, we have a good time. We work well together.
We do. We hope to see you all on the inside as students so you can enjoy all of the content and the experience of the live sessions. That would be fantastic. We do have a lot of fun within them. But until next time, thank you so much for listening. Bye, Meenie.
Thanks, Julie. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, then you should come along and join the club. The club is a whole library of lunch and learns with new lunch and learns being produced all the time that help your dental team gain greater success in your systems, in your team behaviours, in your patient management, in your patient engagement, in their treatment plans. They are usually around half an hour in length, and so team members can sit down, be paid for their lunch break, eat lunch while they're being inspired, and delivered all of these insights and strategies that can be implemented so you all achieve greater levels of success. Also, Ameena and I, my buddy from Dental Management Expertise, have a company, Dental Business Mastery, together. And our flagship online 1-year course for dental practice managers and dental practice owners to learn how to very successfully manage your dental practice is available. Head over to dentalbusinessmastery.com.au to find out more information, and has information about any other courses that we've got available. Also, make sure you do jump onto my website, julieparkerpracticesuccess.com.au, and you will see a whole load of free information. There are articles, the blog, downloads, templates, a whole load of things that are designed to help you overcome any specific challenge that you've got going on in your practice at the moment. If you have any suggestions of topics or guests that I can have on the podcast, please let me know. Thanks for listening.